All right, we're here to recap today's journey. Today is our 8th day
Eighth day.
on our Israel trip. So today, the agenda was this. We left early in the morning.
Breakfast is at 6:30. We leave at 7:30.
Today is Saturday, so it's like halfway through Shabbat, which is the Jewish Sabbath. So literally not a lot of traffic on the roads at all because they're all still celebrating the Sabbath. But we took about an hour and a half bus trip all the way to Masada, which is a fortress built by Herod the Great back in biblical times. And we took a cable car all the way up to the top of the mountain and the memorial.
We went from, just recapping, we went from Jerusalem, which is, 2,800 whatever above sea level, to the Dead Sea, which is where you enter Masada from, which is the lowest point on earth, which is quite fascinating. So we did Masada. After Masada, we saw where they had they found the Dead Sea Scrolls up in the cavern. They showed us that, and then we went to the Valley of En-Gedi.
We're looking at
Ibex.
Looking at ibex.
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 We are hiking up in Gedi right now. Remember the story in the Bible that talks about David hiding from Saul? He hid in En-Gedi, in some caves. There's like a waterfall outside, so that was really awesome. I got a cool time lapse of that, which I'll show you.
Then we went
to the Dead Sea area. This is by far one of the craziest things we've done on this trip. Why are we doing this?
I don't know.
Floating in the Dead Sea. So the Dead Sea is huge.
It's like 30 miles long by
Yeah.
10-ish miles wide.
So when I thought about just floating on the Dead Sea, because you can't swim, right? Because you're so buoyant. I thought we'd just like pull over to the side of the road and like
Hop in.
float out anywhere on this nice blue, amazing Dead Sea. But we literally went to this one section on the very north end, close to the Jordanian border, which we
actually went through. They had the fence along the whole way.
like there
and
were
you-
signs saying like don't get out because there's
don't
mines
enter
and you
here.
could
But there
explode.
was this gate that you could go through.
Yeah.
As long as you were on this one spot, it was okay.
So we went in the gate.
But everyone who has ever been to Israel
Decided
ever,
to go swim/float on the Dead Sea.
right there.
Yeah.
Like Daytona Beach on what? Call it a big day
I don't- it was-
in Florida.
Yeah, it was super annoying. But there was lots, on a brighter note, like, when we got in the water for the first time, the initial, like, once we got, like, in waist deep water, and the initial, like, you push back and you float, it literally feels like somebody is holding your feet up out of the ocean and you're just, like, floating on the Dead Sea.
Like we were in like ankle deep water and we were like, okay, we're done walking. So we just sat back and just floated out, and you can float quite quickly. He compared himself to a little tugboat.
Here, I'm gonna do my tugboat impression.
Okay,
Ready?
I'm ready. I just lost it.
All right, Grace, this one's for you. This is Dad, floating in the Dead Sea. I'm literally not even trying to do anything, and I'm floating in the middle of the Dead Sea. You would love it here because you don't even have to wear those floaties or anything. Look at me, I'm just floating. Just me, floating. Love you, Grace. It was so
Is what
awesome.
he said. And then once we got out to where it was over our head, which we couldn't tell because you're just floating, you actually have to force your body and your feet down, and you're like a buoy, like you're just going up and down, and you can't make yourself go underwater.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So we got lots of footage. Got footage of my pasture literally covered in all the mud in the Dead Sea. It was great. After you got out, even after you rinse off, before we took a shower a couple minutes ago, this is the way I describe it. So if you've ever been to a fast food restaurant with one of those tables that have tile on it, and it has like a layer of glass on top of the tile, and the table wasn't cleaned that well, it has like this layer of what we call like people grease onto it. Yeah, that's what your skin feels like
I don't know if
afterwards.
that's a term.
That's
or
not a
if that's just
term
what
probably,
you
but
just
that's
came up with.
what I came up with just
Oh,
now.
we did forget to mention one thing that happened at Masada. So he, has to get the time lapse everywhere we go, but in the
True.
process of getting the time lapse. Apparently, he missed part of
Yeah.
the pillars.
Can you see that? You can probably
of
see that.
Something.
It hurts really
yeah,
bad.
and so those wounds though are from Masada, which is very fascinating.
Yeah.
So that's special.
So that'll heal up soon, hopefully. One of the most amazing things about this trip, I will have to say, is honestly the food. We've stayed at 2 different hotels, one on the Sea of Galilee in Tiberias. And this one is literally like downtown Jerusalem next to Benjamin Netanyahu's house. Like his house is like right across the street. And there's so much food. Like it's like a big buffet, and they have like 13 different types of cheeses, and
That's
it is
for you, Dad.
it's honestly just amazing. So Doug, you like the cheeses, but that's all I can say about that. Anyway, we just wanted to recap the day. So again, I think this is day 8. It might be day 9. But more to come tomorrow. We can't wait to.
Speaking of food, it's almost
Speaking of food, it's almost dinner time. So we're gonna go. Catch you tomorrow.